What's good, y'all, and welcome. Welcome to my review for Avengers Endgame. Got back, just got home. Now, I should preface this first. I am going to be doing this review a little bit differently than I've done some of my previous MC reviews, especially like what I did in my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. You guys know that when it's come to Avengers Endgame and Avengers 4 in general, I have had bigger, I guess, attention towards it, or a bigger influence on it. Like you guys know, I did a whole theory video when the set photos leaked a little bit after Avengers Infinity War happened. I did a theory video on that, told you guys more theories and what I thought was going to happen in the movie, my Ant-Man and the Wasp review, my reaction videos of the trailers, and things of that sort. I am not going to do this for the spoiler-free section of this review, and I'm going to be as vague as possible, solely I want to be courteous to all the people who are not like me, who haven't been like looking at Avengers Endgame with like under a microscope, like, you know, look at the set photos, thinking of theories, what they would like to see in a movie, like I was. I'm going to be as vague as possible just for those type of people, so it's just definitely going to be hard for me because there is so much about this movie that I love that I want to talk about, but so much of it is spoilers that I'm definitely going to stay far away from it. Now, in case you guys want to know, I did not watch the leak footage when it dropped. I did not. I stayed away from it. I looked back and I looked up the leaked footage after I saw the movie. Dear God, I didn't actually watch any clips, but because my phone was practically dying at that point, so I was like, I just kind of looked at the screen, I like the thumbnails. Jesus Christ, they like spoil like the best parts of the movie in that leaked footage. Shame on it, but whatever. Anyway. So, out of curiosity, I'm going to be as vague as possible. I will save really all my stuff that I've talked about in like all my theories and what I thought was going to happen in the movie. That I said in my theories videos, my Ant-Man and the Wasp review, and my reaction videos to the trailers. I'm going to leave all of that for the spoilers discussion of this review. Here, I am going to be as vague as possible. Just wanted to preface that first before we get right into it. But one last thing I need to talk before we get into it. Okay, I gotta talk about Brie Larson. You guys know that she has been a little bit of the controversy, like, ever since, like, of course, there are people, like, thinking, like, oh, that she has beef with everybody in the theater, just has beef with all the other cast members because of some interviews, like what she's happened with, like, Don Cheadle and Chris Hemsworth. I think a lot of times people are just looking too deep into things, because it's like, I mean, I won't lie, Brie has been kind of, like, a little bit too, like, antagonistic when Chris said, be the next, to be like next Tom Cruise, and she's like, I will be the first me, thank you very much. I get what she was saying. She doesn't want to be she doesn't want to compare to other people, she wants to be her own self, but she came off a little too aggressive, and of course there's all that stuff with Don Cheadle. I mean, he's come on Twitter saying like, nah, there's nothing happening. Me personally, I don't think there's any beef. I think maybe there might have, but I don't know. I think by this point they've also, and everyone is calling her arrogant because she keeps saying that Captain Marvel is the strongest Avenger, when in fact she is. She literally is the strongest character in the MCU right now. I mean, sure, you could debate between her and Thor, but if she's not the strongest, she is one of the strongest. At the very least, at the least second place. So I don't know why everyone's like, oh, Brie Larson is arrogant. How dare she say that Captain Marvel is one of the strongest characters when in fact she is? How dare she? She's getting way too much hate. I don't know if it's because of what she said, about like a wrinkle time, like I don't care what some 40-year-old man thought of wrinkle, why he didn't worry about wrinkle time. I don't know if people were just that petty and paranoid that thinks that she's some SJW trying to ruin Marvel when she isn't. I mean, both me and my good friend Lamar are both still following her on Instagram, and we both hate SJW, so that should tell you something. But anyway, just wanted to quickly throw that out there because I know this woman's been getting a little too much hate, and I don't know. And also, by the way, Credence. When she first showed up in Endgame, there were no boos and people were just cheering. So, just had to throw that out there. Anyway, let's get to the cast. So, the movie is directed, of course, by the Russo brothers. Apparently, the Russos have said this is their final MCU movie. After this, they're done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If they are, They went out with a bang. I don't know what they're gonna do next. If they're gonna go over to try and fix up DC, or they're just gonna do their own movies from here on out. Whatever the case may be, I'ma definitely watch. And the cast includes Chris Evans, Brie Larson, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, Josh Brolin, Paul Rudd, and many more. Of course, the plot of Endgame, as vague as possible, takes place a little while after the events of Avengers Infinity War. They're dealing with the Avengers are dealing with the aftermath of, and they're going to try and find a way to fully stop Thanos and bring back everybody that was lost in the step. And that's it. I'm going to tell you as far as the plot summary, guys, because any more, and I'm spoiling y'all, which I will refuse to do in this video. So, with all that being said, let me get to my positives of the movie. So, once again, being as vague as possible, which is definitely going to be a little difficult. First off, I have to say, the cast was great. Robert Downey Jr. was great as Tony Stark. Chris Evans was great. Brie Larson was fantastic. By the way, I have to say, Captain Marvel here, way better than she was in Captain Marvel. I can definitely confirm that the biggest problem with Captain Marvel was never Brie Larson herself. It was always just the script and the directors just not knowing what the hell they're doing. When Captain Marvel was in the hands of people that actually know what they're doing about, knew what they were actually doing, like, the Russos, she was fucking fantastic. She was great. She actually isn't in the movie all that much, which was surprising to me, because I expected her to have a much bigger role in Endgame, because, of course, we all thought, because, we heard she's one, because as we know, she's one of the strong Marvel characters, and, she was on the posters and everything. We all thought she was going to have a much bigger role in Endgame, but in fact, she was barely in the movie. She was only in, like, a handful of scenes, which was weird, because I expected her to have a lot bigger role, but, hey, she's barely in the movie, which, I would definitely say it was probably for the best, because this was really a lot more personal to the original Avengers guys rather than just Captain Marvel, who's new here. She isn't she doesn't have the same stakes or same attachment or emotions tied to like all the other characters have here in Endgame. So that was a little weird that Captain Marvel wasn't in there that much. But I can understand why the Russos did not put her in that much. And apparently, they filmed this before Captain Marvel started shooting, which that was actually kind of interesting when I found that out. Anyway, so she was great. One thing I will say to all of you Hawkeye, Black Widow shippers out there, this is your movie. That's all I'll say on that. Paul Rudd, great as Ant-Man. He was fantastic. Josh Brolin, fantastic as Thanos. He's actually not in the movie as much, which makes sense because, Infinity War was Thanos' movie. This is the Avengers movie. Because of that, he is barely in the movie as well, only in a handful of scenes. What else? Comedy was fucking fantastic as well. I was laughing my ass off constantly. And the third act. It is just an hour of unadulterated, badass action. And I legit almost started crying during the third act. Yeah. I almost started crying. I won't tell you why or when, because of course that is spoilers. But I did. I almost started crying. I lost my fucking mind in the third act when shit really started to hit the fan. It was just overall fucking fantastic. What else? What other positives can I give this movie before I try and give be as spoiler free as possible? Third act, like I said, was great. The CGI was fucking fantastic. Oh, and also, guys, one thing. There is no post-credit scene. Well, there is something that happens after the credits, but there's no full-fledged scene. So, you guys don't have to stay for the credits if you don't want to. But I will say, stay at least for the first part of the credits when, they actually show up all the, where they have all the effects and everything before they just go to a black screen and just show up the credits. Stay there for that, because by God, are they some of the greatest credits I've ever seen. And another thing I love about this movie is that this truly does feel like the culmination of 11 years of the MCU. Well, yes, this isn't the complete end of Phase 3. Far From Home is going to be the end of Phase 3, and after that we'll begin work on Phase 4. There were so many callbacks I noticed from Iron Man, even Ultron, that I was like, holy shit, this truly does feel like the culmination of 11 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even if the MCU goes to shit from here, it gets infected with SJW rhetoric, because apparently for the Eternals, they are looking for a Asian gay actor to play the lead. Which, when I first heard this news, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell is this SJW rhetoric? I unfortunately had to read. I tweeted that, of course, and of course, all the SJWs came at me like vultures to a dead corpse. Of course, some people were telling me, oh, and actually when I tweeted that, I also had the gif of a guy jumping out of a window with the text, "I'm done." Someone told me to do a backflip. I, of course, replied with "Sure thing, buddy," with the gif of the reveal trailer of Spider-Man PS4 when Spidey did a backflip. I just had to. Another person, there's people that say like, "Oh, gay and non-white people exist," and y'all says SJW stupid liberals. Keep in mind, I am black Hispanic, so I had some fun with this hoe. And also, funny, I loved how some of these people that were coming at me had Brie Larson profile pictures. Like I said, I don't consider an SJW, but what she said does attract those fucking parasites. I, of course, replied to that with, "I love how you assume I'm white simply because I hate SJWs. Well, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Glenn. I view myself as a liberal / Democrat, and I'm black Hispanic." Whoa. And I wanted to put this picture in there that I found, but I didn't, because I didn't want to start throwing haymakers. Which was, "You dumb bitch." I wanted to post that, but I ended up not, because like I said, I wanted to keep this civil. Now, and actually, some asshole even called me a fucking homophobe. Oh man, and I had some fun with that dude, but but this was the best one. This was the best. Someone straight up told me to kill myself. Said, "Hey buddy, you don't need to depend on someone else to kill you. You can do it on your own. I believe in you." Oh man, did that make my day? And this ass's profile, and this dude's bio says, "Proud SJW." Oh man, you guys can tell I had some fun with him. Anyway. With all that being said, even if the MCU goes to shit from here, this right here, Endgame, this truly felt like a great conclusion to the 11-year Infinity Saga, which is what Kevin Feige has called the first 3 phases of the MCU, the Infinity Saga. And even if the MCU goes to shit, I can look back at Endgame and be like, damn, that is a damn good conclusion, So that was great. There's not really any more pauses I can really give out right now that are indeed spoiler free. So I'm gonna give you guys a look now. As far as cons go, I really don't have that many, or really any at all. Really, it's all just small nitpicks. Like, the first act was a little bit slow, which, by the way, this movie is indeed 3 hours. This movie is indeed 3 hours, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. Like, if you told me this movie was an hour and 58 minutes, I would have believed you, because it felt like an hour and like 58 minutes or something, or like 2.5 hours. It really did not feel like 3 hours, which was weird, because this is the first time I've been into a 3 hour long movie in the theater, and it did not feel like 3 hours. So props to the Russos. But I won't lie, first act was a little slow, but I didn't really find too much of a hindrance. But one thing I would have liked to see is maybe a little bit more of Captain Marvel. Would have liked to see her a little bit more. I really like, especially seeing how she was in Endgame. I would have liked to see more of her, but So yeah, then we'll definitely know we're all gonna get a sequel of her with another Captain Marvel sequel. So we can make that. But I would have liked to see her have a little bit of a bigger role in Endgame, just a little bit. Maybe seen her a couple more scenes. What else? Really, all I have is just nitpicks of just stuff I would have liked to see. Like, I would have liked seeing this character have more time or more screen time, or this and that. Like I said, I don't really have much flaws in anything. So overall, I would give Avengers Endgame a 3,000 out of 10. This is the greatest superhero movie of all time. The Dark Knight Logan, y'all got chills. Now, you might be wondering, Glenn, why the hell did you give it a 3,000 out of 10? You've seen the movie, you know why. That's all I'll say on that. So, anyway, guys, so now we will begin to the fun part of this review, the spoilers, guys. So if you guys have not seen Endgame, click off now, go watch the movie, come back here, and we can discuss. So, anyway, so let's begin into the spoilers discussion of this review. So, this actually shocked me a lot, because you guys know that, as I said in my theories video, my theories and speculations for Avengers 4 back when we didn't have a title, and you guys know that I assumed that we were most likely going to have something to do with time travel. Judging from the set photos of those little devices on their hands, which actually ended up looking a little bit different in the final movie than what they were in the set photos. That was kind of weird. They actually looked a little differently than they were there, so, you know, I don't know if they changed them last minute or something, but they definitely did look a little different, I noticed. But, one thing I did that really surprised me was how the time travel wasn't even the start. Like, that wasn't even their plan. Like, I assumed from the set photos, and the trailers, I assumed that the movie was going to start off with, of course, the team, at the aftermath, people were going to reconcile, but a little bit after that, they would immediately try a time travel thing, or they would just stop. But no, but instead, they end up just going straight up to where Thanos is hiding, where that little planet where he's just, where he has his farm and everything, and they just go over there and they kill him. Like, they go over there, they beat the shit out of Thanos, they end up cutting off his arm to get the Infinity Gauntlet out. They found out the stones aren't there, and we find out that he actually use the stones to destroy the stones so that no one uses them as temptation, and Thor decapitates him, saying, "I aimed for the head." Speaking of Thor, dear God, oh my God, what did they do to Thor? So, after that, we have a 5-year time skip, I was like, wait, what? 5 years? Wait, what? What, Nani? Like, I was so shocked myself. I was like, wait, what, 5 years? What? And, people are trying to go live the rest of their lives. We find out Bruce has full control over the Hulk. He's pretty much just him, just all big and green. I don't know if he can go back to his base form or he's just stuck as the Hulk. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, he's wearing his clothes, he has clothes on and everything. But what we see the man, dear God, the man has fallen into a deep depression. He's out there with Korg playing fucking Fortnite, which y'all know that triggered me a little bit because y'all know I fucking hate Fortnite. When they get there, Thor has this big, beard belt. All he has is grown his hair out again. Has a beard. We see Valkyrie in New Asgard. We see Emily comes out once a month to grab more beer, and it was just so depressing watching Thor. I'm like, what happened to you, man? And man, Thor was probably one of the funnier parts of the movie because he gained so much weight, and we see what happens later on in the movie with he meets up with Rocky, he meets his mom, and all the other jokes they make about how fat he is. It was fucking ridiculous. Of course, all the guys come back. Like I even predict. I called this in my Avengers 4 match where I was like, oh yeah, all the guys are gonna come back because obviously because of course by this point, Far From Home was already confirmed. Doctor Strange 2 was already confirmed, which I was like, oh my God, this just confirms that all the characters are gonna come back at the end of Endgame. This just confirmed it for me. And so that was pretty cool seeing that, which I'll talk more about that final act in a minute. Seeing how so then when they figure that out, they end up decide let's go back in time and find all the stones and bring them back together. Of course, they have this new Infinity Gauntlet that's like an Iron Man, that's made of Iron Man suit armor, whatever technology he's using to make his suits. He makes an Infinity Gauntlet for them, and they go back in time. They go into different time periods. Of course, Tony and Cap and Ant-Man go back to New York. which of course was a set photos that ended up leaking, which of course you guys know I did a video on that. Thor and Rocket go back to where Thor, the Dark World was, which actually, you guys may not have heard this, but actually, Natalie Portman was actually at the Avengers Purple Carpet premiere for Endgame, and I was like, ooh, does she return? And now, we don't really see much new footage. I think there was like a little bit of new footage, for Natalie Portman in it, but that was about it. You know, she wasn't really in the movie all that much. That wasn't just reused footage from, you know, the Dark World. And of course, you know, Thor has this big belly and he meets his mom, and you know, they have their own little moment and everything. And then he also comes back bringing Mjolnir with him. But, you know, and then I could talk more. That whole time travel stuff was fucking hilarious. I loved it. That stuff was great. Also, oh my god, I bet the Yowie, the Captain America, Tony Stark Yowie shirt's probably a field day when they were talking about Cap's ass, about how it's America's ass. I mean, the jokes were funny. I was laughing my ass off, but at the same time, like, oh god, the Yowie shippers are not going to let this, are not going to shut up about this shit, man. They're like, oh my god, it's confirmed they like each other, some stupid shit. Anyway. Yeah, that was great. And when they actually get to when Hawkeye and Black Widow have to get the Soul Stone, and then they're like both fighting against each other, who gets to, like, you know, just jump off the cliff to, of course, get the other one to sacrifice himself to get the other one the Soul Stone. That scene was really heart-wrenching when they're like, and they're both using their own attacks, like, you know, Black Widow is using her, you know, her combat skills, while Hawkeye's using his bow and arrow. It was crazy stuff like that when they're like just both running over to the edge. It was a very emotional stuff. Hawkeye, I gotta talk about Hawkeye. I love what they did with Hawkeye, man. With his, I think he's called Rowan now. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's Rowan. I loved it when we see in the beginning where he's taking out those Japanese mobsters. It had a very anime-like vibe to it. Of course, you guys know I'm a massive anime fan, so that was fucking amazing. I love that part, man. Rowan, I just love how badass Hawkeye was in that first half. We see him just, you know, mowing down people. And the scene where we see Tony meeting with his father, Howard, and of course we also find that Tony does indeed have a daughter. That was really awesome seeing the interaction between him and his daughter, and when he meets his father, because they end up going back to the set to get the Tesseract. Which, when they lost the Tesseract, and we're gonna find another time for to get the Tesseract, I legit thought they were gonna go find Goose, and, you know, because of course he had the Tesseract, and I still don't know whether or not that scene where he spent on the Tesseract happened before, you know, what happened after, you know, Captain Marvel. That was after the snap. You know, I still don't think that we've gotten a confirmation where that happened, the timeline. So I thought they were going to go find Goose. But no, they end up just going back to the 70s. Tony meets his father, Howard, and the interactions there were absolutely fucking fantastic. I loved it. Now, let's talk about, the big thing that happened the third act. So they get the stones, you know, not Tony. Hulk ends up deciding to use the Infinity Gauntlet because, of course, he's like the most powerful Avenger, at least the only one that could probably really stand. I mean, I'm sure Thor could probably take the blast too, but Hulk ends up using because, of course, most of it's gamma radiation. Hulk's nothing but gamma radiation, so, you know, it's good for him. He does the snap, you know, that was stuff. And when Thanos comes back, because, of course, Nebula ends up using her previous Nebula that was brought into the past, that was brought in from the future back into the past to get the Power Stone, and all the shenanigans happened to where Thanos ends up becoming the Thanos from 2014, from like Phase 1 or Phase 2 from Guardians 1, comes back into the present to face off against the Avengers and everything. It was crazy stuff. And when they get in there, okay, let me just talk about the third act, because this was fucking amazing. First, I gotta say, so we find out the 5-year times because actually, Captain Marvel has cut her hair, and now it's really short. I don't know how I feel about the short hair with Captain Marvel. A part of me really likes it, but another part of me kind of preferred her with the long hair. I don't know. It's definitely something that's probably gonna grow on me either whenever Captain Marvel 2 comes out or when I rewatch Endgame 20 different times. I don't know. It's something that I don't straight up hate. But I don't know, I'm still kind of debating whether or not if I like her better with the short hair or the long hair. I don't know. It's definitely something that's most likely going to probably grow on me. But, yeah. So, third act. So, Thanos comes in there. First off, we see Thor have rocking both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, which when he does that, and he has his beard tied up, has his arm, which he's still fat, too, and he has his beard all tied up, has his hair out, and he's rocking both of them. I lost my fucking mind when that happened, man. So let's get to the third act. So after all the shebang happens with Thor taking down, Thanos, and all the guys are teaming up against him, which I got like. I love Tony's new armor. It definitely it definitely looked a lot more like the Bleeding Edge armor, which the armor we saw in Infinity War was based on the Bleeding Edge. This one looks straight up like the Bleeding Edge armor in Avengers Endgame, which I like because I've always loved the design of the Bleeding Edge armor when I saw it in the comics. But so when Thanos brings his entire army with him, I was like, "Holy shit! How is Cap going to do this all of this by himself?" Because by this point, his shield is broken in half. Thor is just lying on the ground and everything, and I was like, "Holy shit! What's going to happen?" But later on, we find out that Cap is worthy of holding Mjolnir. I lost my mind because it made me remember back in Ultron. You guys remember in Age of Ultron when they had that little party before we see Ultron make his really first appearance, and they were all trying to lift Thor's hammer. And you guys might remember Cap made it budge a little bit, and now we fully see him rocking and using Mjolnir. I lost my fucking mind when that happened. I was cheering. I was like, "Oh my god!" But the audience I was in there when I saw this movie in IMAX was fucking fantastic. If you guys do yourself a favor, go watch this movie when you still can. Earlier on, watch it in IMAX. The crowd. It's no better feeling than watching it when you watch it right there with your fellow comic book nerds, and we're all just collectively losing our fucking minds. It's fucking amazing, guys. If you guys have not experienced something like that, definitely experience with Endgame if you can. Watch it, watch it tomorrow or whatever. Just make sure you watch it with a group of fellow comic book nerds that will all lose their collective shit right there with you. But after that, we see Cap, we see Sam call Cap, be like, on your left, and then we see T'Challa, Okoye, and Shuri. Literally, somebody in my theater just screamed "Wakanda forever," and I was like, "Yeah!" I of course did the Wakandan salute. Literally every time I see T'Challa, I almost do it on instinct. It was so fucking great. And when everybody else showed up, you had Doctor Strange, and oh my god, when Spidey showed up, oh my god, and when Cap said Avengers Assemble, and we saw the characters, I was like, a part of me was hoping to God the Netflix characters would pop up too, that finally the films will acknowledge the Netflixers, but of course, no Netflix series, no Daredevil, no Jessica Jones, no Luke Cage, no Iron Fist, no Colleen Wing, no Punisher, no nobody. And he said Avengers Assemble. I legit almost started crying. I was like, oh my god, I was so filled with emotions when that scene happened. I legit almost started crying. I almost started crying 3 times in this movie. The second time was when Peter and Tony reunited. That scene was so amazing, man. Oh my god. Oh, I'm getting emotional just talking about this shit, man. It was so fucking good, man. It was so good, man. It was so good. And when Captain Marvel came in there, oh my god, was that fucking awesome. When Carol comes in there and she takes them out. I have to say, this probably confirms she's the strongest man when Thanos headbutts her when she's trying to get the gauntlet off of him. Or, no, wait, was it? No. They were fighting over the gauntlet, and she grabs, and they're both tugging over the gauntlet. I love how Thanos just headbutts Captain Marvel. It doesn't even affect her, and then he just grabs the Power Stone, puts it in his hand, and punches her. That scene, that was crazy. But speaking of Captain Marvel, before that, Spidey had the Infinity Gauntlet, and he actually activated kill mode, and you see his tentacles just stabbing all Thanos' men. It was so fucking cool. And when Thanos starts bringing down the missiles from his ship, and Peter's holding the gauntlet on the ground. I love the interaction between him and Captain Marvel, where she's like, oh hey, what's your name? He's like, Peter. He's like, hi Peter. I was watching that, and be like, you know what? I would actually like to see more of this. Out of all the Captain Marvel ships I've heard so far in the MCU, her and Valkyrie, which I do not know why that's even a ship, they haven't even fucking met yet. Even in the movie, they don't even really talk. There's this, they don't even talk really in Endgame. So I don't know why that's a ship. Her and Thor, was a thing, which, there's probably also now a new ship between her and Spidey. of all three of them, that's one I like the most. If I'm being honest, like I legit do not. I actually do not despise that ship. I can actually would like to see more interaction between Captain Marvel and Spider-Man, because I really dug their interactions in Endgame, man. I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say I low-key ship it, but you know, it's definitely something that might happen. Will it happen? No, we're not going to see those two together because Peter's going to have Michelle in Far From Home, but So that was great. I love that scene, man. But when she headbutts her and she doesn't even flinch, I was just like, oh shit. But when Scarlet Witch has her hand at Thanos, yo, that was badass. And when all the female characters all line up and team up against Thanos, I fucking called that. Y'all can go back. I think it was either my Avengers 4 video. It might have been my second viewing of Avengers Infinity War. In one of my Avengers video or one of my Marvel videos, I talked about that scene and I called that was going to happen in Endgame. And guess what? I was right. And it was badass too when you have Okoye, Shuri, Captain Marvel, Valkyrie, Scarlet Witch, Wasp all teaming up. Yo, that was so bad. And that actually felt earned because, of course, we know all these characters, we know how badass they are. This definitely did not come out some SJW bullshit, which I loved. So that part was fucking awesome, man. When she, and like I said, like when Scarlet Witch has her hand at Thanos, yo, that was epic. That was fucking epic, man. And okay. And so we end the movie off when Thanos finally gets the Infinity Gauntlet, or the new Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet. Puts it in there, snaps his fingers, nothing happens. And then we see Tony. He has all the stones in his costume and does in his armor, does the finger snap. And when Tony died, man, I was like, no. I mean, I had a feeling it was either going to be Tony or Cap that was going to die, because we know both those guys said they're done with the MCU after Endgame. They're both done. I was like, man. And when, of course, when Peter talked to Tony for the last time before Pepper was probably, I love that Pepper was fucking Iron Man too. Apparently there was actually a set photo that leaked out a while ago for like around Infinity War that she was wearing a mocap. So everyone thought that she was going to have a suit in Infinity War, but when she did, everyone thought it was a fake. Well, apparently that was an Endgame set photo, which I thought, her in the armor suit was also great. The stuff with her daughter was great, and oh man. And when we get to the funeral, and her daughter is with Happy, and she's like, hey, what do you want, for food? Like, you hungry? And Happy asks her what she wants. She says she wants a cheeseburger, and Happy says, oh yeah, your dad was always for hamburgers. It made me remember back in Iron Man 1 when Tony says cheeseburger first. That was like the last time where I almost started crying again. Was that scene where I almost started crying again. This movie, man, it was so emotional, man. I fucking loved it. Okay, this video's gone up super long. I don't want to keep you guys up for any more longer. That's about it for set spoilers, guys. Now I want to talk about for this. I'm definitely curious. And we also see that Thor has pretty much joined the Guardians at that point, it looks like. So in Guardians 3, it looks like we're going to have Thor join the team. And I think what they're also probably going to do is that's probably one of the major foes is definitely going to be the past Gamora and the current Star-Lord. Those two are going to interact, and they're probably going to fall in love with each other all over again. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen by the end of Guardians 3. And we also found that Valkyrie is going to be the new Queen of New Asgard. So that's going to be interesting. This movie definitely opens up a lot of questions that I'm definitely curious about for what I would like to have, what we might end up seeing in Phase 4. And I'm definitely a lot more curious about Far From Home now, since seeing, this movie. Because as we know, it takes place a day after Avengers Endgame. And it's definitely going to be some crazy stuff, man. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing what goes down in, Phase 4, in the future of the MCU. But one thing now there is a little bit something in the end credits. We hear the bang, dun, 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 bang, dun, 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 bang. We hear metal hitting against something. Now I watched a theories video about this. Now this could mean that Tony might end up having a future importance in the MCU, or he might come back as like an AI hologram. We might see Robert Downey Jr. return, just does some voicing or some mocap for that in a scene, or this could have setting up that their daughter, I forget her name, might have taken the role as Iron Man, because you also see Cap returns back to his time, comes back old, and hands Sam the shield, which a part of me was hoping that Bucky would be the next Captain America, because I think it would just be better, because, of course, the relationship between Cap and Bucky. But I understand why they gave it to Sam, because I'm pretty sure Bucky's probably going to have a importance in the future Black Panther movies, because he's now known as the White Fox. Or White Wolf, I should say, White Wolf. So, it makes sense why Sam has gotten the shield, and that scene was great when we see that old Captain America and Sam, and the final Stan Lee cameo, man, in Endgame was a treat. Because, in case you guys didn't know, that's actually the final Stan Lee cameo. He was too sick to come back for Far From Home, which sucks. I'm going to miss the Stan Lee cameos, man. Oh man, I am not prepared for Far From Home. But anyway, guys, I have kept you guys here long enough for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you stuck through this whole thing of me rambling on about how much I love this movie and how emotional it was for me when I saw it, especially when T'Challa and all the guys came back with like, when everyone was chasing over the Infinity Gauntlet, when Cap had Mjolnir. Oh my god, I lost my fucking shit, man. So great. So great. Oh, and guys, one last spoiler I forgot to talk about. I love this. There was a reference to Secret Empire in here. You guys know the comic book art. Because... So, Captain America, the current Captain Marvel from the present MCU, not the Captain America that was in the Avengers movie, gets in there. He's holding the little staff that Loki had in the Avengers movie. Is in the elevator with all those guys. You guys might remember from a Winter Soldier. It was a nice little callback to Winter Soldier. I know that. And I thought we were going to get a straight up fist fight just like we did in Winter Soldier in the elevator. But instead, he's like, he tells the dude with the glasses, "Hail Hydra," and I laughed my ass. Number one, because he said "Hail Hydra," and two, because I noticed it was a reference to Secret Empire. Anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, if you like. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. She's